all of my amazing singles. Welcome back to the Book of Love podcast with your matchmaker and dating coach, Geneva Dickey. I am so excited for today's guest. We have Jess Clerke on, and she is the host of Self-ish Confidence. And as you all know, I struggle with talking and coaching on confidence. So what do? I bring on a confidence coach. And so as you listen to her stories, and if she resonates with you, make sure that you go check out the show notes. We have all of her details in there, and I recommend reaching out because her energy is infectious. Now, before we get into today's podcast, let's talk about what the Book of Love is. It is a podcast that interviews people in all stages of singlehood. We also sit down with experts to discuss dating in today's modern day culture. We also have some awesome webinars coming up. We have a free women's webinar only talking about organic dating again, because guess what? We can date organically again. We have another boot camp coming up for women. We are still in the middle of our men's boot camp, which is going so well. And just so you all know, we have a new male dating coach. So if you are a gentleman and you want some one-on-one coaching with another gentleman, reach out to us and we would love to help you. We also have the last speed dating event this Saturday, sold out 4 weeks, which is so exciting. And then we have a new event that's launched. It's the Lock and Key Party that is going to be, you know what, I'm not even going to say the dates. Go on Instagram if you want to check out any of our events, and all of the dates are on there. Outside of that, we are just absolutely exploding here at JE Matchmaking. The Book of Love is going so well. I sent out 14 dates this week. So 28 people, and out of the 14, there was 10 that wanted to go on a second date. I was blown away. And so lots and lots of couples are coming out of the Book of Love, and if you're not in there, you're missing out on some really amazing matches. But let's get into today's episode with Jess. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I am so good. I'm so excited to be here. And with you saying too, like, oh, I have Jess come on my podcast because I don't know how to teach confidence. I had you come on my podcast because I don't know how to teach dating. Like, I've been married for 7 years, dating the same man for 11 years. Like, I don't know much about dating.
Yeah.
So it is really cool to see that we could kind of like collaborate on something like this and be able to like really work together.
I think it's really empowering too to know that we don't know everything, and we got to plug into other people, right? And so first of all, I would love for you to tell everybody who you are and a little bit about your confidence journey, because you don't become a confidence coach unless you have quite a journey. So tell us all about it.
I don't know. You said that you've been confident since the womb. So
Yes.
like, why aren't you a confidence coach? I don't know.
Because I have no idea. All I had was a mother that said, you can do anything, baby. And I'm like, okay.
And so you did.
And so I did.
So I am Jess Clerke, and I have been a confidence coach for the last couple of years. I've gone through kind of the journey of wellness coaching, helping women with their health and fitness, and just recently felt the calling to help people with more, especially women, to help women with more. And it really came from coming out of the pandemic. And I told Geneva, I'm an emotional person, so if I get emotional talking about this, you just roll with it, okay? It's not weird. It's
She's
just
a
who I
pretty
am.
crier, just so everybody knows. It's like a single glistening tear that falls down her cheek.
It's not, but it's okay. I own it. But it all kind of started with the pandemic and kind of being locked in my house and really having to sit and feel and think all alone, even though, yeah, my cats were there and my husband was there and everything was fine. But it really gave me that opportunity to just dive deep into who I was. And I actually lost my job in the pandemic too. And that was a big shake to me as someone who had always relied on my job. I come from parents who were entrepreneurs and very successful entrepreneurs. So I put every ounce of my being into having a successful career. And when I lost my job, I was just like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm not a marketing manager anymore? Like, what happened? And it was for a tourism industry too. So as you guys know, it wasn't really a hot time for tourism during the pandemic. So it was kind of inevitable for that to happen. But I had to go through these big leaps to figure out who I was without my job, without being a marketing manager. And with that, my husband was also offered a job to move to Barbados to work on the airport runway there, which is really cool. And you're probably like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And it would have been had the pandemic not happened. So we actually started that job in November of 2019. We took that job, and I had the goal of going back and forth. I could build my business. So along with being a marketing manager, I had multiple businesses here too. So I could come back and forth. I could visit him for a couple weeks. I could build my businesses. It would be great. It was the best of both worlds. And then the pandemic hit and my husband got stuck in Canada. Thank the Lord, because we needed that time to also figure out what the heck was going on. But come July of 2020, we made the decision to move down there permanently until the project was finished. And again, sounds like the ultimate dream. Believe me, I know how it looks, I know how it sounds, but there was something about it that still always felt really weird and really wrong, because there were so many people back here who were stuck in Canada, and I was stuck in another country, a beautiful country at that. But it really shook me. I lost everything going down there. So for me, yeah, my husband had this awesome opportunity. He got to build his dream career, which he came home and got a promotion after that career too, because it was just like wonderful for him to take on that big project. For me, I was home alone with my 2 cats. We brought our cats to Barbados because we're weirdos. So we moved away from everything we knew, our family, my car, even just shopping for groceries. Those little things are a part of who I am, and I've always been a very independent and confident person, but that really shook me. I lost everything. I just became Glenn's wife, that's my husband, Glenn. He's a really cool dude. I absolutely love being Glenn's wife. Do not get me wrong, but I've never wanted to be just Glenn's wife. And that's what it felt like when I went down to Barbados. I lost everything. I didn't get my driver's license down there. They drive on the opposite side of the road. I felt nervous going out in public because as a white woman, it just felt uncomfortable. You always felt like the tourist. Being in the pandemic too, there was no tourist down there. So you could be singled out very easily. Even just walking the beach, people knew that you didn't belong there. And I didn't like that feeling. I've always wanted to feel like I belonged. That's a big piece of confidence. And just, yeah, walking down the beach, I could just feel how uncomfortable it was to be me. And that wasn't a feeling that I really wanted. And so I stopped going outside. I stopped going for walks. I kind of just stopped everything. I kept doing my online businesses, and I showed up on social media. So anybody who follows me on social media from then probably didn't even know that this was going on, because I still showed up as my confident self, as my beautiful being. But like it wasn't the same behind closed doors, and it was really uncomfortable. A lot. And so I actually started therapy because it was something that I wanted to overcome. I didn't want to we were spending a whole year down there. I did not want to spend a year down there not believing in myself, not being myself, just like locking myself up in the house. And when I finally started, after a little bit of therapy and getting out there, the pandemic hit really bad down there. So everything was pretty normal because no one was traveling. So Barbados was great for 2020, like so great. There was no rules. You just got to live, and it was like really cool. Despite the fact that I was nervous to go outside by myself, it still was like a really great life down there. Come January 1st, 2021, we go into this massive deep lockdown in Barbados. Like, you weren't allowed to leave your house except between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. to go for a walk. And as someone who was already nervous to go for a walk, and as someone who's a freaking rule follower, like to the core, a rule follower, all of these things just kind of like really hit me with my confidence. And I was just like, okay. So now I just started going outside again, and now I'm not allowed to go outside. And it just like, it really messed with my mind. It messed with kind of like everything. And again, I know how privileged I sound. I got to move to Barbados for a freaking year, and I'm complaining about all of those different aspects of it. But when you don't get to be who you are and you're kind of like in that box, it really sucks. Mm-hmm. And as much as you're privileged to have this beautiful life and all of these things, it just doesn't feel good that you can't live your life or even get in your car and go get groceries. Or I had to rely on my husband for like literally everything. Like even to the point of like, they don't do a lot of debit and credit down there. It was like, they're very like 10 years behind us. And we'd even have to ask for money. And I hate that feeling so much when you're just like, can you give me my allowance, baby? Like, and for anyone listening and they're like, well, I ask my spouse for money. Like that's not a bad thing. But for me, it was a really gut feeling like that I couldn't even access my own money. It just like really hit me hard. And so then fast forward a little bit more too, pandemic still going on pretty strong down there. We started to get out of it. Things were starting to go good. And then a volcano hit the island and it hit an island neighboring us. And the ash blew over to Barbados and put me back in the house for 2 weeks. And so as much as the pandemic was really isolating, moving to Barbados was really isolating too, and then have all these things happen when you're not allowed to leave your house because the government says they're going to arrest you if you leave your house. Now, do I think they were going to do that? I don't know, but that's just what they told us, and I'm a rule follower. Then the volcano hits, you're not allowed to leave your house again, and there's just like this trickling effect of all these things that hit me for who I am. And even coming back home, I was like, great, now we're coming back home. We came home a year later, July 2021. And I was like, oh yeah, we're good. I'm going to get my confidence back. I'm going to be me again. It's going to feel so freaking good. And then I got home and I realized that it wasn't the same. And you can't just bounce back. You can't just come home, move back to Canada and get your life back. Everything was different. The pandemic here was different. The rules here were different. Life here was different again. And I was now a dog mom. I found a dog on the streets in Barbados, so I just brought that home with me. And just like all of those things, it just, when I thought coming home would be the answer, it wasn't. And maybe that's something that people would resonate with too when it comes to relationships. Like, you think you're going to come into a relationship and you're going to be happy. Sometimes you're not.
This is that's a beautiful moment and a beautiful thing to say, because as a matchmaker, what I get a lot of is, I'm interested in matchmaking, but I need to get that new job in order to do it. I need to lose that weight in order to do it. I need the pandemic to be over in order to do it. And there's always once I'm here, I'll be confident.
Ooh, yeah. And it's not the case. It's not. And that hit me when I got home and I realized it wasn't as easy as me moving back into my house, getting my car back, getting my life back, getting Canada back, which Canada's so freaking awesome. Like, you don't even realize how good we have it until you're gone for a while. We have a very beautiful place to live. And so it took me some time coming home to come to those terms too, to realize just like, it's not what I thought it was going to be. So after some more reflection, I am a person who does a lot of personal growth. I've been doing a lot of coaching and personal development for many, many years. So I had the tools that I needed to get back on track. And there was just like this itching. Even in Barbados, I felt this itching inside me that's like, you got to do this when you get home. You have to start this podcast. You have to start this journey. You have to start this business. And I was just like, not now. That's not the time. Get out of here, ideas. And it just like was really, really strong when I got home. The idea that I had was a project called the Year of Confidence. And it had been on my heart for a while. And I was like, okay, I guess now's the time. I'll start September 1st. I'll start, when I get home, I'll start insert whatever date you're telling yourself. And I kept pushing it off and pushing it off. And what the Year of Confidence was is a journey of choosing myself, choosing my confidence, and choosing confident actions every single day for a whole freaking year. And I think a lot of the times we tell ourselves that we need 30 days. Oh, I'm going to lose the weight in 30 days. I'm going to find my husband in 30 days. Like, those are not realistic timelines. We need a year. We need enough time. And so eventually I cut the crap and I signed up for a podcasting course. And in the same timeline, I also decided to start my confidence journey October 1st of 2021. Even though I knew not what I was doing, I knew nothing. I put some goals together, but that's about it. And when people would ask me, what's the Year of Confidence? And I was like, I don't freaking know. It was just an opportunity for me to finally take some action towards the life that I wanted. And I've been on that journey now for 182 days. And I've been taking confident actions through different areas of my life every month. So I'll have like a set goal amount for like every single month, and they might be really, really simple. They might be really small goals, but they're moving me forward. And I think that's the big thing too. When we often say 30 days, we think it has to be these big, massive actions. Like, I'm getting my business to 6 figures in 30 days. Like, no, that's not going to happen, because you have to take massive action for that to happen. And then you're going to burn out, you're going to get tired. And by the time the day 30 comes, you're just like not interested in it at all. Giving yourself a year, giving yourself a really good long timeline makes it a lot more accessible to you, and that you can be more consistent. So that's where I'm at in that confidence journey. And I'm, again, not perfect. I don't know what I'm doing every single day, but I'm making the active choice to try. And that's kind of the biggest thing when it comes to confidence, is just showing up.
I think that's amazing, because, and one of the most powerful things that you said is that it's a choice that you make every single day, because so often it's our nature as humans to say, I am confident or I'm not. I am, high value or I'm not. You either are or you aren't. But in reality, you wake up every day and you choose to be something. I had this conversation in the gentleman boot camp. We were talking about being a high value man. And we talked about being a high value woman in the women boot camp as well. And we went through all the qualities that make up a high quality man. And he said to me, he said, so I have some of those and I don't have other of those. So how do I leverage the qualities that I do possess to like basically make the ones that I don't possess less important? And I was like, it's not that you possess any of these, actually. You're waking up and you're choosing these. So being aware of what the moves to be confident are, the qualities that make up a high value person, you wake up and you choose it every day. It's not an existence for you. It's not who you are. It's what you're choosing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like that for me. I think about that as a marriage too. Like I choose to be married. I choose to have that relationship every single day. It's not that I just wake up and I'm like naturally a happy married person. Like you have to show up and you have to have those actions every day. It's the same thing as showing up for your job. If you didn't show up for your job, I don't think you'd have one anymore. And you have to do that with all areas of your life if you really freaking want it.
Oh my gosh, and I had another lady, she was, bless her heart, she's doing the compound dating technique, which is a dating intensive program. And, you know, she went on 5 dates and she's like, I'm over it. Like, I just, you know, I'm really discouraged. And I was like, talk to me when you've been on 30 dates, honey, like 5 dates. Like compatibility is very rare. Like you got to do it every single day. You got to do it consistently. And I think a year is a really great timeline for that.
Yeah.
Because we have to discover ourselves along the way too. Right?
100%. You figure out what you want by taking these actions. And same thing with like the confidence goals that I have every month. Some of them work and some of them don't. And I learn that by doing them and trying them. Maybe journaling isn't for you. You're going to learn that by trying it and not just being like, I'm not a journaler. I don't know what my feelings are. Like you really have to dive into those things and try it. I always say like, oh, I'm not a crafty person or I'm not the mothering type. And that's not true. It just means that I'm choosing to not do crafts or to be a mother. Like that's just my choice. And sometimes you got to pick what you want and then go for it.
Now, you've had a lot of conversations with people around confidence. Now, and you get a lot of people that are kind of at default in the, you know, they have the myths of confidence in their head. They have misconceptions of what confidence is in their head because they're coming to you raw. What would be one of the most regular misconceptions that you hear about confidence or a myth that you would like to dispel in regards to confidence?
That you either have it or you don't. And it's not that you either have it or you don't. It's that you're not choosing it. And it's exactly what you just said. It's a matter of you making it a priority, having those actions and going for it. And just, I think that that's the biggest one when it comes to confidence is that people say, I'm not a very confident person. It's the same thing too when you say, I'm not a very photogenic person. It's not true. It's not that you're not photogenic. Maybe you just don't know how to pose in a photo.
Yeah.
And you need someone to teach you that. That's exactly where I come into play when it comes to confidence. I teach women how to have more confidence. And it sounds like such a simple concept, but it's really not because we've got layers and layers and layers that are telling us every single day to just not be confident. So like every time, you know, somebody in school told you to sit down and be quiet, well, there goes one layer. And like the same time that your parents told you that you weren't good enough because you weren't getting good enough grades in school, it's like, okay, well, there goes another layer. Like there's so many layers when it comes to being yourself because we've been told all the time to not be ourselves.
Absolutely. And okay, so this kind of goes back into like the being or not being because I probably came into this conversation with the misconception that you're kind of born that way or not, right? But also because I feel that like in grade 2, when I was going into class, my teacher told my parents, oh my God, she has such great posture for a grade 2-year-old. Like, why is that? You know what I mean? And mom and dad are just like, she was born just insanely confident. We don't know why. And I think I'm blessed with my parents that they're able to do that for me. They're very confident and they did like instill that in me. But yeah, so it's interesting. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I don't think you're either born with it. You weren't just like born a confident person. I really do think that's a matter of like the community and the household that you were brought up in, that you were given amazing parents who believed in you from birth, and you're really blessed with that because not everyone has that same story. I also have that story. I have parents who are very confident, who instilled in me that I could do absolutely anything I wanted and that they were going to be behind me the whole time. Like, I'm very grateful for my parents. And they led by example, too, being business owners for the last 40 years. They've had a small business in Moncton, New Brunswick called Gifts Galore. And it's just the most beautiful, cute, pink store. And they're just, like, thriving. And you can tell because I'm repping my, like, pink blazer. Like, maybe it's where I came from, too. But they taught me the same thing. I've always been a confident person, but I really do think your surroundings play a big role in that. So even though I had built businesses before I went to Barbados, and you know I've been pretty confident on social media for a really long time, it really cut deep when I wasn't in a place where I could grow and could flourish. And And that's what really led me to figuring out that I needed more confidence, that I really needed to dive into that. So it's the same thing too in your household, in your relationships, in your classroom. The people around you play a really big effect on you. And if they're not helping you grow, and they're holding you back. And if they're holding you back, then you're not going to be yourself. You're not going to be a confident person. So yeah, you can be born with some great characteristics to help you to have more confidence, but it really is the environment around you that plays a big role in that.
Agreed. Amazing. So I think your story is a great example of this. The pandemic has given confidence a huge hit in a lot of people. Now everything's opening up, but some are coming out quicker than others. What would you recommend, just as like a little tip of the first step people should take coming out of this lockdown and this pandemic and these restrictions to launch into maybe their 1 year of confidence, or just the first step?
Yeah, I would say the first step is to figure out what you want. Because a lot of the times, and I work with clients on this, when I ask them like, oh, what is it that you want? They don't have an answer. They might think they know what they want. Oh, well, I want to build a business, and oh, I want to have, I want to grow my family. I want to stay home with my kids. And that's great that that's what you want. But what do you mean? Like, what do you really want? And dive into that, and then dive into why you want it. And it sounds, again, really simple, but when I ask people the question, like, what do you want? They're stumped. They can't even figure out why they hired me as a coach at that point, because they're just like, what do you mean? Like, I hired you to tell me what I want. And I think, too, as women, we've been told so many times what we're supposed to want or what we're supposed to do, who we're supposed to marry, and it's just not the reality anymore. And you really need to figure out what it is that you want, because once you do that, everything's going to open up. I can help get you there once you figure out what it is that you actually want and why you want it. And I think that that's the big piece that we often just kind of forget, that we've been told so many times what we want. Now it's time for you to figure it out too.
That very much parallels like dating as well. Like when they come in for dating coaching and I say, what is it you're looking for in a future partner? Most people have no idea. And yet they don't know why they're kind of flailing in the dating world, is because when you're out meeting people and you don't know what you want, you don't have that North Star. You don't have that feeling of certainty when you decide that this person is or isn't for you, right? So there's always going to be a little bit of doubt if we don't fully know what it is that we want. I think that's really powerful stuff.
I was thinking of you too when I was reading this question that you sent over, and I was like, oh, like the other piece of it too that I work with clients on is that they don't feel deserving of what it is that they want. So they actually don't know what they want. And if they do know what they want, they don't really believe that they're capable of it. They don't really believe that it's something that they deserve. And I think it comes the same way in relationships too, because people might not know what they want. And even if they do know what they want, they're like, oh yeah, but that guy's too good for me, or that girl's not enough for me. And you put yourself in that box because you don't feel like you're deserving of that love. And that's something that I work through a lot with clients, because you are deserving of it, like 110%. I haven't even met you. You're listening to this podcast, but I know you're worthy and deserving of really big things. Whatever that thing is, if that's that person you've been dreaming of, if every night you're dreaming of this like super sexy person, you're just like, that's the person I want, but I don't deserve that because, well, I'm not super sexy. Well, we're going to change that, because you deserve better, and you deserve to see yourself as super sexy, because that person is well in your reigns of deservingness, if that's the word.
Well, speaking of sexy,
okay.
When you ask like singles, what's like men and women, what's the most attractive quality of a person? It's confidence. So even the work that you're doing with clients right now, you are literally making them more sexy the more you work with them.
I like that.
Because you're building their confidence, right?
I do like that.
And it's interesting because, when I walk into a room of singles, I know the singles that are just like confident just before even meeting with them or talking with them, because of, I don't know, it's like this intangible thing that's in them.
You can just see it.
Can you see that stuff with people?
I can see that stuff through actions of people, not necessarily physical attributes of people. So like I can tell by the way that you play with your hair, by the way you kind of like pick at your skin, by the way you kind of hold yourself, that if you're confident or not. I can see it in the actions that you take, in the job that you're doing. You could come and give me like a full evaluation of what your life is, and I will be able to tell you if you're confident or not, just because I know if you settled for a job because you don't feel deserving of a better one. Or I know if you settled to wear that outfit because you didn't feel great in that super sexy red dress. Like, I know, but I don't think I know from pictures or like the way that you hold yourself on your dating profile. And again, I haven't dated in a long time, so maybe that's it too. But there's just something about meeting you in person that I can tell.
Oh, we can tell it from a dating profile for sure.
I know you can. I know you can.
We should probably go through some maybe at the end of this, if we have time, we'll go through some dating profiles and we'll because I have 100 dating profiles on my Instagram right now. So
I always wanted to try a dating profile, so I did once. I think I told you that. I did.
You did.
I was engaged. I just wanted to know what it was like to be on a dating site because I never really got to experience that. And I am happily married, and I was happily engaged at the time too. But it's a whole other world out there. That was wild. It was 24 hours and it was wild. Nothing obviously happened, but I just wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was a while ago too.
Oh, yeah.
What app was that?
It was Tinder.
Okay.
And I got married in 2015, so it's probably 2013. It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah, Tinder was even different back then.
Don't tell me that. I don't want to try it again.
No, well, I'm going to actually just entice you to try it again, actually. It's different. It is, back then, not everybody was on it still.
Yeah.
Everybody's on it now. The pandemic has put so many singles on Tinder. So it is even a different experience altogether now.
I can't right now.
It's wild. Oh my gosh, I have been, I have that online dating course and I've been contacting therapists and coaches and all that stuff saying, hey, I have this online dating course. And they're all like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. All my clients are like, I can't stand online dating and I've never done it. So I have no idea. Yeah. So they're just sending them to the course because how if you've never done it, how do you know?
Yeah. I have a friend in your course and I love hearing behind the scenes. I'm like, ooh, spicy. I love it because I think it's so cool and it's just a world that I don't know anything about.
No, you got to dive deep into it. Okay, so if someone decided to come to you for confidence coaching, what would they expect and what does that look like?
So the first thing that we really do is dive deep into what you want. And that can happen in one call and that could happen in a whole month. I've had clients that I've worked with for a really long time and still don't really know the definition of what it is that they want. Or I have clients coming to me and they are like, this is what I want. And then after a few calls, I actually realized I don't think that's what you want. And we kind of figure that out together. I had a client who was like, I really want to hit these health and fitness goals. These are the things that I want for my life. And after working with them for a little bit, I realized that they were masking a lot of things behind that and that they were actually struggling with a really deep depression. And I was like, wow, this is a reason why I took that step to get into confidence coaching, because I think that there's so much more that we can help with that is more than the physical attributes. And again, we've been told so often, this was January too, to be told that January we're supposed to come in with our health and fitness goals and we're supposed to do all these things. And there's actually really something deep behind these people that it's not necessarily that's the thing that they wanted. They've just been told that that was the thing that they wanted. So we really dive deep into that. I do 1 hour one-on-one calls. I actually love working one-on-one and even just hanging out here with you right now. I feel like we're just chilling. That's how I want my sessions to be too, because I want you to feel comfortable and confident in our space and to be able to just hang out with me and really tell me what it is that's going on. Because if you're coming to these and you're just kind of hiding behind it and you're like, I want to start a business, but you don't tell me the truth, then we can't get into it. You're not going to come out of those sessions feeling very confident because you know you're lying. So that's something that I do a lot of, is just help you to feel comfortable and confident with me, because that's going to emulate out into the rest of the world too. And then once we figure out what you want, we dive into those beliefs about yourself to really help you to see that you are deserving of these things that you want and take you along the journey of just figuring out the goals. Each week we have different steps that you can take and they're really tailored to the person, because I love the unique experience of having just us hanging out and that I know your deepest desires. Sounds sexy. But I'm helping you get sexier by helping you with your confidence. But knowing your deepest desires and helping you have really tangible goals to get you there. And I think too, through this year of confidence, a big thing for me was having those small goals and taking those actions every single day. So for my clients, I try to do the same. I don't want to overwhelm you. I know what worked for me. For some people, they can run. They can hit those goals and they can do all the things, and that's great for them. But I work to really make it not a slow process, but something that you can easily digest, that you can really make those moves and those impacts. So every week you're coming back better than you were last week. And that can be something as simple as I went to go get groceries by myself and it was amazing. Or I sent out, a client sheet for my new business or whatever. There's these little things that you can have. I'm going to celebrate all of those things. I'm going to celebrate one client. I'm going to celebrate one grocery trip. I'm going to celebrate you going to the park with your kids because you needed to get out. Like, we're going to celebrate all along the way. And I think that that helps to build my clients' confidence too, because they finally see someone else celebrating them, that they're going to do it too.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's so funny because like the confidence goals, they're so far that starting small is the first step.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when I was on your podcast, I talked about how, you know, when I taught confidence, it was very much education. I love that you do the inner deep work.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do a lot about education and action.
Mm.
And then like, for example, on a first date, I will talk through how a good first date goes from start to finish. And just having that knowledge of what a first date should look like is enough to make people confident enough to go on a date.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think? Because I actually tell clients when they arrive at a date, when they're outside the restaurant or the cafe, I want you to stand up straight, put your shoulders back, almost like not in a Superman pose, but like almost. Like you're physically making yourself look confident. Mm-hmm. And I was like, adjust your hair, adjust your jacket, adjust your shirt, make sure all of your clothing is pulled up and pulled down, because when you walk in that restaurant and your date sees you, you are not tugging on any clothing, you're not pulling on any earrings, you're not fixing your hair. You are walking in with your shoulders back with a big, beautiful smile to walk up to your date. Ooh. And that is confidence, right?
Yeah.
And people have started doing it, and their dates are so much better just because of that one power body movement. It's not even mental, it's body.
Yeah.
That's amazing stuff too.
Yeah. I always think too, and I know some people say this is bad advice, but it truly is fake it till you make it. And if you don't have the confidence, but you're choosing to take those actions, like to go on the first date, to start the business, to whatever it is that you want to do, taking that action despite that you don't feel confident in it is the step. That's what's going to help you to get there. And yeah, you know, it might not go perfect, but it's not going to be a hit to your confidence. You've already done it once. You know how to do it again. So let's do it again. We'll just do it better this time. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's how it would be with dates, because I know your girls, and I shouldn't say your girls, a lot of females and males, they go on a lot of dates. And it's just interesting how probably the first one's going to be pretty crappy. And maybe even the first 5 are going to be pretty crappy. But like, you're going to get to that point where you feel really good showing up because you've done it so many times. Because I think the same thing too. You have to be educated in order to show up. And education comes through you trying. Mm-hmm. So you got to fall down. You got to go on a few crappy dates to find a really cool person.
I bet you can even reflect on the beginning of starting any of those businesses or even this podcast. Like I was listening to the beginning of this podcast because I was going to re-record a couple of them. And I was like, no, actually, they're so raw. We're going to keep them because they're the newest. But like, I was stuttering, I was nervous, my voice was low, and then the confidence grows as you do it. Mm-hmm. And like, for example, my first event was a speed dating event. Best believe that was the shittiest speed dating event I ever hosted, right?
Yeah.
But like, you gotta do it.
You have to.
You gotta do it.
No one starts good. Like, and I struggle with this because I always think, and my husband laughs at me for this, like, I want to be the best. Day one, I will be the best archer you have ever seen, and like
I've never shot an arrow before.
Day one, they call me Katniss Everdeen, but I don't have that. I actually really suck. You have to suck, but you have to grow through the suck to get to the point where Katniss Everdeen was the freaking best archer there was. So that's just, I think, as awkward as it is, you have to suck at dates. You have to suck at your business. You have to suck to move forward.
Yeah. You absolutely do. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun.
I know, it felt like we didn't get to any questions, but it just actually just came out as conversation and just jabbering. I loved it.
It's because we jive, and it's good. It's good stuff.
Do you think we should go through a couple of online dating profiles?
100%.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So actually, we were looking at a couple before we jumped on here, but I think I'm going to pick some brand new ones that both you and I have not seen before.
Ooh, okay.
So that we can see what we think. So just for everybody who knows, I did a little TikTok series saying, hey, I'm going to do some TikTok or profile reviews. Send me your profile. So I have about 100 profiles in my Instagram. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up some here.
This will be how I live through you and your dating, because again, I'm too afraid to get on there. So to all the people listening who are on these dating apps, I'm sending you all the love, all the vibes, all the confidence, because you deserve it. The fact that you even signed up for the app, let's just say, like, that's the action towards your confidence. You signed up for the app, and I'm so freaking proud of you for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Putting yourself out there that
100%.
way. And speaking of which, if you ever went on Tinder again, your husband would get a call like 20 minutes later because everybody's on, did you know Jess is on Tinder right now? Yeah, there's no cheating anymore on Tinder.
We can't hide that.
Okay, so first we have the beautiful Holly. So here's Holly. Sorry for everybody that can't see her, but she is stunning. Facts about me that surprise people. I may look delicate, but I can dig cat holes, carry a canoe, and start fires. What's a cat hole?
What is a cat hole?
I don't know. I want to message her and
Holly,
find out.
please tell us.
Yes.
She likes puppies.
She's got a cute little puppy. Oh, I'm feeling confidence with this bad boy.
She shows herself, and I think that is a big piece in showing that she's confident.
Yeah.
She just is herself, and that's huge.
Let's make sure we're on the same page about making the most of life and being the best we can every day. Ooh, Holly.
That's my girl, Holly.
I want to go on a date with her.
I do too.
That is a good profile.
Yeah.
Confident. The first picture was her, no filters, no nothing.
Showing herself.
Just showing herself to the world.
Mm-hmm. And I think that takes a lot of confidence too, to be real and to really show yourself is huge. Because oftentimes we're told to hide behind filters. We've given so many freaking Instagram filters now that we're just like automatically hiding behind a filter all the time. But to be true and to be raw in your profile, because I don't think you want to show up on a date and be like, oh, are they really going to like me because I was hiding behind a filter, right?
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I like Holly. Holly, holla at your girl.
But we also, like, at the same time, it's hard sometimes because, you know, what you think... I remember when I first started online dating, my profile was horrendous. And it was a lot of selfies, there was a lot of filters and all of this. And I don't know, I think it was just my ignorance of what is expected in the online world now. Okay, so next we have Tara. Beautiful Tara.
Tara, you're a babe.
Look at those lashes, eh?
Yeah, those lips.
The lipstick, she got a beautiful nose ring. Okay, so what are your thoughts?
She's a beautiful human.
Yeah.
And it definitely shows. But she's missing showing who she is sometimes in these photos. And I think that whoever it is that is going to date her is missing the opportunity to really know her. And I think that that's hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So just for you that don't know what this is, she's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
She has 5 pictures that are all really, really close to her face.
Mm-hmm.
And her body shot, she actually is in a mirror and she cut off her face.
Yeah.
In her body shot. And it was almost like, well, I guess I have to show my body because people say that I have to show my body. So here's my body. But it's not like, here's my body. You know what I mean?
Me out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And then she's got a really cool tattoo. But instead of it being this 3-part of her tattoo, I would love it to be like, this is my tattoo and me. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, the first thing that I would coach her to do is, of course, take the pictures back so that we can see your shoulders, we can see your necklace line, and like your hair and everything.
Spicy, yeah.
Couple selfies, absolutely amazing. And then your second picture, like that full length, that's got to be you, like posing with angles, just like owning you. You know what I mean? With a big, beautiful smile and those beautiful lashes.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that will really bring, and what's really hard is that when we don't portray confidence on Tinder and online dating, we are going to get the people that prey on lack of confidence.
Oof, yeah.
And so it's almost, you're going to have a better experience if you really focus on portraying your genuine confidence in your online dating profile, because you're going to have a better experience after that. Because yes, if we do have a profile, and you know, men and women have a very keen eye to see if there is confidence in an online dating profile. So we have to be very, very careful of that. Oh, can I show you a before and after?
Yeah.
I'm going to do a TikTok of this amazing gentleman. But his before, because we're working together, and we did a before and after of his full profile.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm going to show you his before. And you guys, this was going to be coming out on TikTok next week, just so you know, in case you're watching. So this is the amazing, amazing Dustin. So he's out of New York.
Cute.
Isn't he adorbs?
Yeah.
So the first picture, you guys, he's on a car on a laptop looking off to the corner. And then, you know, self-employed, all of his details. And then look at that big, beautiful smile. Stunning, right?
Yeah, he looks so happy.
Doesn't he? And he is. He's like this big, energetic dude. And then this picture, not as good. A little bit like the slumped shoulders and things like that show a little bit of lack of confidence. And then all I ask is that you communicate with me that you're not interested if you're not. What are your thoughts on that as a confidence coach?
He's been ghosted, and that's not a great feeling. So he just wants to know if people are telling him, oh, I like you or I don't like you. He wants them to be blunt and open about it because he's probably put his heart out to a lot of people. And that hurts my heart, Dustin, that you've been hurt so many times. That would tell me, though, he has been hurt. And I would be like, well, why? What's going on there? Why have you been hurt so many times? And maybe that would deter me from sending him a message. But he's such a sweet being.
I know. He's a beautiful human. And then him at the Grand Canyon with his big, beautiful smile. Big, burly, bearded dude. I know.
Dustin.
So my love language is top 3 in order are quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation.
My man. I love me some quality time and words of affirmation.
And then we have his cat. I know. He actually took it out in his new profile. I'm like, you better put that cat back in the profile.
Cat back in there.
Yes. The cat actually saved him during the pandemic, he said.
Oh.
He got to take care of the little fluffy kitty, and it just kind of got him through the lockdowns.
That's so sweet.
I'm like, you have to have the kitty in there.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last picture, which is just a bunch of people, and we don't. Anyhow, you ready for it?
I'm so ready. Dustin, don't you let me down.
Oh, he doesn't let you down. He did not play. Look at that.
That is a great pose.
Okay. Does that not scream confidence?
100%. He's shining. Mm-hmm. He's shining some magic right there.
So you guys, this is him. He's up against a brick wall. He's got a half smile that's, I know something you don't know. I'm cheeky. I'm fun. And he's got his arms crossed, but in like an open, confident way.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Is his profile live?
Yeah, it's live, and he's getting tons of matches.
That's a nice picture.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
He went and hired a photographer.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. He went and hired a photographer, which down in New York, they're like $70.
What?
For a photographer.
Who works for $70?
I don't know. Apparently it's somewhere that has lots of competition, you know?
Wow.
So 2 truths and a lie. I've traveled to 2 different countries. I've been skydiving twice, and I've been to a nude beach.
Ooh, spicy.
I know. Don't you want to message him and find out what it was?
Yes.
And then look at his big, beautiful smile playing pool.
Dustin.
I know.
Is that something you encourage in a lot of people too, to get professional photos done?
100%. Mm-hmm. The only thing is that when you get professional photos done, try to only use 3, max 4 of them. We don't want your full profile to be all professional photos. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a different shirt/outfit in every single photo.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, because then we get into his actual photos, which are a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
how great is that?
That's so great.
Full length, big, beautiful beard. And, he had, he was self-conscious on his body. And I was like, do you know how many women, when I tell them ask them what they're looking for, say a big, burly, bearded man? Like, you are so many women's wet dreams. Like, stop playing. You have to show them that,
Yes. I think he needed to hear that, though, from you, because I don't think often people see that in themselves.
No, I don't think so either. And then the big, beautiful, I don't know. I'm really excited. This is coming out on TikTok next week, you guys, so go check it out. But that was a pretty cool before and after.
Yeah.
And the 2 confidence, it's so different.
You can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it. And I think that will emulate when he goes out on dates, too, because he showed who he was. He's not hiding anything. He's not hiding behind anything. So when he goes, he can be himself.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling, too.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, is there any little piece of, I know you're not a dating coach, but like dating advice or just advice on confidence? Like one last word from Jess.
I would say to be yourself. And I know that that's such cheesy advice, but the best thing I ever did in my relationship and in my marriage was just to be me and embrace who I am, so that my husband can also do the same, so that we can show up in our marriage and not be hiding anything, that we can just show up and be like, hey, this is me. Check me out in my underpants. You like it or not? And you just go into your relationship like that. It's the same thing with dating and trying to find your people. And I know the first couple dates are never going to feel good. They didn't feel good for me either, but they're going to take you in that direction if you are yourself. You're going to find your match if you're yourself. If you're lying about who you are, then you're just going to find a liar of a match, and you don't want that.
No, exactly. Okay, do you mind sharing your first couple dates with your husband? Like, we're supposed to like be done right now, but now I'm really fascinated. Would he mind you sharing that?
Okay, I don't think so.
No, yeah, share with that.
Okay.
Like, how'd you guys meet and how did it?
We met at a birthday party. We were 21, and I, again, not great at the dating, you guys, so don't come to me for dating advice. But I met my husband at this party. I thought he was super cute, and I was like to my girlfriend who had brought him to the party, I was like, oh, Caitlin, your new boyfriend is really hot. And she's like, ew, he's not my boyfriend. And I was like, okay, come out. They were like childhood friends. And I was like, okay, sorry. But I was kind of infatuated with someone else just coming out of a relationship. I thought I was going to marry my ex. I was just like, you're hot, but have a nice life. And I remember that night so clear when I met him. We went to a club and I danced my butt off to show off for this person, just to like show my confidence and to show that I was this beautiful being, despite the fact that I was like, he's not mine. I don't want him. But like for some reason, there was something in me so deep that I knew that I just wanted his attention. And so fast forward a couple weeks, he added me to Facebook. Back in the day, he added me to Facebook, and I guess he creeped me a few times, but he never sent me the message and he never said anything. And I was like, Caitlin, your weird friend messaged or checked me out on Facebook, added me as a friend. She's like, yeah, he likes you. And I was like, what? He likes me? Okay. I thought he was hot. And again, fresh out of a relationship, I was like, okay, tell him to call me. And he never did. And I still thought that was strange. So then one day I had some drinks in me and I took Caitlin's phone and I sent him a message and I was like, you call me tomorrow, man. And he did. And we started talking and hanging out. But I had never been very good at like locking it in and like being really confident in someone like that. And like that, I mean like this beautiful human, like he's super sexy. He's got confidence. He's just an incredible human. And I didn't think that I was deserving of that. So despite that I would talk to him, I didn't think he would actually like me. And then one night, it was really late. And he said, oh, we were talking. And I was like, oh, I feel like going to a park, like a playground. And he was like, great, meet me there. And like, that sounds super weird. But for some reason I went and I gave my location to my roommates. And I was like, if I'm not back in an hour, come find me. And we just went to a playground and we got to know each other and we hung out. And then like, I think then I went to a few more parties with him, and then slowly we got into this place to the point where he came to a wedding with me, which would have been one of our dates, which is super weird, guys, super weird. And he said, what are we doing here, Jess? Are you my girlfriend or not? And I was like, okay. So again, this is why I'm not a dating coach. I don't have any of the skills to date. I was forced into my relationship, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Amazing.
And I remember too, when they asked us when we were getting our marriage license, they're like, he's not your brother, is he? And I'm like, no, he's not my brother. Like, are you forced to be here? Like, give me the look if you're forced to be here. And I'm like, well, kind of, I was. I kind of was forced to be here.
Wait, were they jokingly asking that?
No, they were very
asking
serious.
that?
I don't know. That happens, I guess. They would talk to us separately. They both brought us into like separate rooms and they asked us those questions. Like what are your intentions here? Do you actually want to be here? Is this for real? And like, it's like super weird. And I don't know if they still do that.
Do they ask him if he's his sister?
Yeah,
and if he's
they asked those questions. Yeah, they asked those questions too. It was very weird.
That is.
But
was that in Halifax here?
No, it was in New Brunswick. Still though.
Makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, I was forced to be there, but I'm really happy about it. Because I'm the type of person that needs a little push sometimes for that stuff. So again, don't come to me for dating advice.
No.
I really got lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Come to me for dating advice and go to her for confidence advice. Clearly.
And if you show up as yourself, I promise you'll get lucky too. Like you will.
Thank you so much for coming on. That was amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Book of Love podcast. And I forgot to tell you where to find Jess. So Instagram at jess.clerke, Clerke. And then check out her podcast, Selfish Confidence. And then, reach out to her if you need any coaching at all. Confidence is a very, very powerful thing, as we spoke about in this episode. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever it is you get your podcast and leave a review. Reviews are very powerful for those that are checking out this podcast to know that it's a worthwhile podcast. And then, of course, share. We're all coming out of a very, very hard pandemic and lockdown. So share this with somebody that really needs a little boost in their confidence, or maybe even that push to get out there again. And thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to opening up the Book of Love with all of you.